it, everyone's different, man. And the problem is a lot of you guys, when you're looking at people that are giving you tips, you're looking at the person whose YouTube's videos started popping off. And it's important you look at that because they probably popped off for a reason, and you can probably get an idea of why their content is quality and maybe yours isn't, right? But at the end of the day, there is also quality content that just isn't. Oh, this is fucking sick, boys. Now this is a raid, baby. Shout out Albion. But there's a lot of content that is really good and isn't getting views. And chat, and the thing is, you're only getting one side of the story when you're watching these videos, right? You're getting the side of the story of the person who made it, and they're telling you how they made it. But what I think we're missing, and what I've realized as I've been doing Twitch and trying to get better at, you know, building companies and shit, is it's almost more important you look at the people that failed. Because it's easy to look at the people that succeeded and just assume that they did everything right. To assume that they knew what they were doing and that anyone could mimic that, right? But a lot of times it's not that simple. Sometimes people do get lucky, man. Like sometimes it worked for them at that time, but that shit doesn't work now, you know? Like for example, when streaming first started on Justin TV, you could literally just sit there and play games, and you didn't even have to be that entertaining. And you know, shit, you're gonna figure shit out, right? It'll probably start working. But it just becomes. Dang, I accidentally spec'd wrong for this, but we should be able to clear this regardless. But it just becomes like it's an interesting problem where everyone is only looking at the people that already succeeded, and you're not getting the viewpoint from people that are like, hey, I made that YouTube channel. Remember when Harris Heller told you to make a YouTube channel and make good stuff and do things you're in? I did that, and I did multiple versions of that for years. Like, and that doesn't always work, you know? Like I'll give you guys an example. If I were to like blow up on Twitch right now, I would have a completely different tip. You know, I'd be like, honestly, YouTube like is important. Like, well, it would depend on what blew me up, I guess. But like, let's say I just blew up on Twitch because of a raid, and like my YouTube never grew, like no matter what. My tip would be, dude, you need to figure out how to like collab with someone and how to get someone to raid you because you're doing content for their stream or something. That would be my whole tip, you know. And maybe that wouldn't work for most people. Just like a lot of times, YouTube's so saturated. Maybe for a lot of people, even if you make decent content, it's not good enough to get picked up by the algorithm, right? So for you, your time is better spent somewhere else. Yeah, I don't. It's an interesting idea, for sure. But it's just something I've been thinking about a lot, man. And that's why I don't make too many streaming tip videos anymore. Actually, I used to make a lot of those, man. When I first started streaming, even when I had like one viewer, dude, which is pretty funny, I would make tip videos. And the funny thing is, I would still say all those tips are actually technically really good. But the problem I've realized as I've done it more and more is that tips don't matter, bro. Like it's completely pointless. Like it's literally pointless. Like when you're watching Harris Heller, when I'm watching Harris Heller, and he's saying this is how you should do it, it literally means nothing. It's entertainment and nothing more. It's not like action. It's good advice, and like you could take some of it to heart, and it's probably helpful in some ways. But like everyone has a different story, dude. At the end of the day, there's zero chance you're going to make it because you watched some guy's video and he gave you this dope tip that's what gets you there, you know? That's not really how it works, you know? It's just kind of cool seeing that, I guess, firsthand. Corp's husband is the biggest example of luck for me, to be honest. Yeah, I'll get. That's a perfect example, right? I don't really know Corpse that well, so I can't attest to whether or not he's lucky. And I think a lot of times people like to say it's luck when, you know, there's probably a lot of hard work and skill involved, right? Like if I blow up tomorrow, a lot of people would be like, you're so lucky, but they wouldn't have seen the 2 years of me, you know, grinding, right? But at the end of the day, let's say he is kind of lucky, right? It doesn't matter. I'm sure Corpse, if he hasn't, he could make a video that would get millions of views about how to grow on YouTube, right? Well, what if the reason he grew on YouTube is because his voice is really unique? What if that's the main reason? What if his content wasn't that much better? It was good, but it wasn't better. What if it was literally because his voice is really deep? It could be. I'm not saying it is, but it could be, right? And if that's the answer, well, if you don't have a deep voice, that fucking sucks. You know, like, what, are you just screwed? So, and even if that's not it, like, he'll probably tell you there's certain things that work and don't. And it's just a different beast, man. And the reason for that is because things change, man. Everything's dynamic, right? Like I said, growing on Justin TV is way different than growing on Twitch nowadays, right? Like nowadays, like even small streamers are posting daily on TikTok, Instagram. The competition's unreal. There's hundreds of viewers and like multiple. Like Albion right now, even has a couple streamers with 100 views. There's just a lot more stuff going on. It's a lot harder to grow. And I'm trying to tell you guys, because I know a lot of you guys today have been talking about how you're doing streams and stuff too. I just want to caution you. Just remember, even for me, and that don't just take, for example, tips from me, right? When I say, if you ask me the best tip for a new streamer, this is what I would say. I'd say play multiplayer games and ask people, be nice to people, and in those games, ask them to come watch your stream after, and you will get affiliate in like a week. And do I believe in that tip? Yeah, I believe it. I believe anyone can get affiliate. I don't think it's that hard. I think if you just do what I just told you, it would work for anyone. As long as you have basic charisma. And if you don't, that's fine. I didn't either. You just build it. You just build it. You know, you just become more and more charismatic. And if you hit a baseline, you'll get affiliate in like a day because a couple people follow you from, you know, the game you played. But that might not be true. Like that doesn't mean that's going to work for everyone. That doesn't mean that's the key to getting affiliate technically, you know? Like you might do that and you might be really charismatic and it might just randomly not work for you. And then you might wonder, am I just an idiot? Like what's happening, you know? It's just a lot more involved than people. Dude, Bushy is absolutely slaughtering these things. What level gear does he have? Now that I'm like more into the game. Oh, dude, Bushy has level 8? Oh, what? I've never even seen someone with level 8. Oh, dude, Bushy's like actually legit. Because before I didn't really understand the game, so I was just kind of like, whatever. Bushy's got like actual nice shit, boys. What do you know? It's not that great, though. It's not all maxed out, so he's kind of a puss, you know, but whatever. I got that last night. Well, he spent 2 years grinding too, so I don't think it's just the voice. A lot of luck involved and and then what got lucky was the exposure through offline TV. Well, that's what I'm saying, dude, because the more I've been thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? I really do think a lot of my videos are pretty decent. Like for example, if like one of my if my next video, Artificial Intelligence and Gaming, randomly got recommended, I think that could push a lot of the old ones too. Or like even just the streaming ones I've been doing recently, like mental health ruins, like streaming ruined my mental health, cancel culture and gaming. Like if one of those videos 2 months from now blows up, that could blow up the whole thing, right? And then suddenly overnight I would just become this huge thing. I think one of the hardest things about, ooh, nice boys, good loot. One of the hardest things about really social media, any social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, you know, Instagram, anything like that, is where it differs from a real job dramatically is it's much less granular. It's much less granular. So, for example, in you know, in a real job, you kind of work your way up, right? It's very uncommon that in a real job, you would come in and within like a month, you're now the CEO of the company. Like that just doesn't happen. Like even if you maybe were by far the most capable person, that's just not how shit works. It makes sense, right? You work your way up the ladder, you do your shit, you do your time, you keep up the work, you keep your head down and impress everyone and make connections, and you slowly and surely build up. But social media isn't necessarily like that. I mean, you can make good videos and they aren't going to get views. You can make bad videos and they do get views. You know, the algorithm might just suggest you. It might just not. You might grind for 2 years like Corpse, right? And kind of be a nobody, right? Not a nobody. I'm sure you had a great community, kind of like ours, right? But like in the grand scheme of things, in the biggest, you know, streams, etc., you wouldn't be very big. And then one day you just blow up, right? Maybe offline TV, you're random. Like, I'll give you an example. Maybe one day I'll get into a Valorant game with Ninja. Well, he's too high level. What? Like, who's someone like that I could actually, maybe like Tim the Tap Man. I get in his game, right? Maybe he keeps leveling up. I'm in his game. I make a funny joke. He thinks it's really funny, right? And then we talk, LOL. Maybe we don't even play after, but like, he's like, oh, dude, your stream's dope. Like, LOL. Or maybe you do. He's like, yeah, let's collab with this other person. Then my career would just take off, you know? And that wouldn't necessarily be because of all the, that would just be kind of luck in a lot of ways, right? It would be also capitalizing on the moment, but, you know, if that happens tomorrow, yeah, I mean, suddenly, like, it would look like I was a super fast growth in 2 years because I'd be one of the biggest instantly, right? Not one of the biggest, but I'd be huge. Or really anyone, kind of like Corpse, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. I don't know. Dude, Albion raids are just so tranquil, man. I love this shit. I love that Bushy's doing all the hard work, and I'm literally just sitting here like talking shop with you boys. Bushy's killing